Hey, so can somebody explain to me what the hell is going on with all this damn spitting in the NFL? Like this year, which is funny that on a year that they want to emphasize sportsmanship and being nice and don't say these certain words and just not the fighting and whatever. And a lot of that's really just BS or whatever like that. I was like in the hard ass game of football. That's a lot of that BS. But it is still weird that when this has became an emphasis, which I feel like they do this every year, but I guess there's always particular plays that always comes up that's like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Spit never had to be one of them things that was on there because I thought, and I figured that this was universal, that spitting is kind of a no-no in all of this. Spitting is one of them things that no matter what side of anything that you're on, everybody sort of got an agreement of you spitting is in bad taste. Not, pun intended. Spitting is not what you're supposed to do. Unless that's what you like. That ain't the point that we're talking about. But yeah, I was like, cause the thing is that outside of that, is that if you get spat on, or you're spitting on someone, or someone's spitting on you, I feel like you don't even really have to be fully told to feel like, oh no, this is up from here. Like with something like this about to go down. Like even if you're not somebody that's willing to retaliate if someone spit on you, you still feel very degraded. You still feel like something's been done to you or whatever like that. And like for me, I was like, I got taught at a very early age that hey, we're not gonna be doing none of that spitting. That's not what we're going to do. And I was like, I was thinking like, oh, this is as a kid, you might not know, and guess what? You get that lesson, and you just understand. And then as you sort of get older, while that lesson was like gave to you, you sort of still know like, and it's in a different way. That's like, yo, ain't nobody just about to just spit on me without there seeming like something there that happens. So it is odd that we have had like spitting moments. I know it hasn't been nothing crazy, but it still is more than I think you would expect. But also, because this is really blown up because of the Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey thing. But you would think after the whole Dak and Jalen Carter thing that we're not doing this. You would think that we wasn't going to be doing this in the beginning. But either way, here we are, and it's like, yo, we're still like doing this. And then also to deny fully that's like, I didn't do it or whatever like that. It's also just kind of like, yo, so you did something like that, and then you gonna be a coward with something like that. You know what I'm saying? This one thing is like, hey, I ain't say that. He said, she said. But it's like, we see you, dude, and you still gonna be like, nah, I ain't do it. I think that's just wild. I think it's just wild in general of like, I think there's a difference in like if we're talking and spit, sputtle, whatever gets on you and you take it as like, oh man, this dude spit on me, and then like they start fighting, and that's like a different way of like, oh man, or whatever. But when it's like full on, sorry for those, but also for ASMR people, then I was like, then it's kind of like, what are you doing here? Like this is like you doing premeditated loogie. Like what are we doing? You over here getting a lot of that nose goose just like goo out of you, and just like like no, like this is not what we do. So I was like, I just don't understand, cause there's nothing else that you would think of that spitting would be like, oh, this is fine, and you just like, oh, whatever, just a regular day. Like no, there's nothing that, like I said, even if you're not one to retaliate or like fight back, you still feel something in a way that's like that ain't right. That ain't right. So I was like, like, and I can understand if like, now I'm not saying that I was like there's a reason, but if they hated each other, it was a legitimate hatred, I don't like you, there's some beef, then alright, I'm not saying it's right, but at least it's like, okay, you doing it because you doing something disrespectful to someone you don't respect. Alright, cool. But it's the fact that it's like y'all are sort of cool as far as like it's just this supposed to be some competitive football stuff. What was the meme for this? I was like, and I was like, and then like, cause and this happened in real life. Look, they ain't. I was like, some people gonna fight, some people gonna do a little bit more. You might not do anything or whatever. There's a whole bunch of. I like in football, you can basically just start running it up. So therefore, you just already know what's gonna happen here. I'm just confused on just like why anybody thought that like this is like was like a good idea or whatever like that. You know, I was like, and outside of some weird like when people used to gleat, I was like, if you know what that is, when they used to use it underneath your tongue to, or whatever, that was some weird like kid stuff or whatever like that. But I still think it's a difference of like you over here cranking that thing up in the back, like hold on, ready to go. Nah, it's too much. It's too much on the hand. Yeah. At this point, it's kind of I'm like, who's raising y'all in this situation? Like, you know, cause I'm like, that's something I'm like, you know by now what that you either got that lesson or you already maybe got an idea what that feels like in a way where I'm just like, nah, that's just not what it is. I was like, yeah, that's on a different level of everything else. Anyway, that's it. I was like, it was just random, just a thought of just like what's going on here, like why this thing been necessarily allowed in this way. To me, I was like, it's just like if you decided to kick somebody in the balls just because. I was like on some like WWE type of stuff. You just like you know, where it's just kind of like it's like, look, we're fighting. I was like, you know, unless you out here really fighting dirty, why are you doing that or whatever? I was like, I don't know. Anyway, I was like, they lucky they had helmets on because I was like, that'd have been a lot different. Yeah, I was like, I agree with my Tom that hey, it was the point of somebody spit on you, then it is what it is. You need to be prepared for the worst because I feel like that's one of the things that I feel like universally or it should be you would think of that, like I said, no matter what area you are in of life or where I would like where you reside. I was like, this is them things that cross lines that everybody's like, nah, we all know what it is. Like, you know, like how you smile at somebody and no matter what, for the most part, everybody's like, oh, okay, it's a smile. I understand. Spitting is like that same thing. It's like, oh, that's what it is? Oh, okay, cool, bet. Anyway, that's enough of that rant. No need it for anything else. Bye.